So this is all right. So again, out there, hope everyone has a wonderful, blessed, safe, happy, joyful life for you and your family. Um, that being said, this is my part two of part three, talking about the Eagles, state of the Eagles. Talked about the last video about how I felt this about the season last season. At the end of last season, this video I'll be talking about how I felt about the Eagles. During the course of the preseason, which is gonna kind of continue last season going into preseason. If you get what I'm trying to say, and then later you guys will get the video of me talking about preseason and draft, all and that preseason, draft, free agency, going into the current state of the team. I felt going into the current season, and also how I feel about them currently. 2 weeks in, about to play the Dallas Cowboys on Monday night. So this video will be talking about the Eagles during preseason and my thoughts on them. So I watch a lot of Eagles content creators. I was watching uh, Philadelphia Eagles Now, Chat Sports, Lord Brunson, Philly 500, Philly Mike. Um, there's one more. I apologize. I can't remember the other guy, but he does a really good job of breaking down game planning and salary cap and all that information. If it comes back to me, I will say in the video, but it's not coming back to me right now. But pretty much, I listen to all these people, and I was also listening to following Thomas Pederson and on social media, and there's different articles on the Eagles myself on the web. So that being said, at the very end of last season, I had a very pessimistic view on the team and the current view of how the season is going to go, just because we looked very dysfunctional as an organization, to put it that way, because we had just gone into the season throwing the last game, in my opinion. Like I said before, I thought Doug Peterson was scapegoated and kind of, which led to him being kind of pushed out the door, and not out the door, but they kind of wanted him to, which I kind of agreed that some of his coaching decisions had to change, if I'm being honest with you, and he kind of had to let go of the reins of being a play caller, if I'm being honest. Because I thought the year he won, they had Frank Wright, and that's why part of the reason he won is because he had a good coaching staff. So I think he had to go back to having a good coaching staff, but they kind of wanted to pick his staff. And if I'm a Super Bowl winning coach, which Doug Peterson was, I would understand, especially after kind of being scapegoated and blamed for a season, which you didn't really get to make all your decisions. I kind of would understand having my own boundaries and putting my foot down and kind of saying, like, listen, if I'm going to take the brunt of criticism for the season, I'm going to go down pretty much my way and doing it my way. So when reports came in that he met Jeffrey Lurie and he decided to part ways because he wasn't willing to budge on I want my own coaching staff and doing the things my way. I kind of understood and respected why Doug Peterson did that, and then we let go. We departed with our Super Bowl head winning coach, and to me, the real advantage we had in the division of having the best coach in the division, or the coach in the division that had the Super Bowl, and the experience of winning the Super Bowl. So that was a little bit disheartening and discouraging at the current moment with everything else going on for our organization at the time. Um, you know, like I said, we had Howie Roseman, GM Howie Roseman, made the draft picks. He had micromanagement of Doug Peace and his philosophy offensively. Um, Organization looked dysfunctional. He was scapegoated for things where I feel like had more to do with Howie Roseman in the front office. Um, and at the time we got let go of Doug Peterson, I was like, okay, hopefully clear full house and get rid of Howie Roseman too. We didn't do that. Howie Roseman stayed, which a lot of Eagles fans wasn't happy at first. And then Nick Sirianni comes in. At first, I wanted Eric Bieniemy from Kansas City, or my other choice, Drew Staley, who was the running backs coach for the Eagles. Those are two people I wanted right away, if I'm being honest. But we ended up with Nick Sirianni from Indianapolis Colts, who was the offensive coordinator for Frank Wright, who was offensive coordinator. We won the Super Bowl. So at first, Nick Sirianni took me a while to kind of get behind him, because they kind of say he wasn't reading the reports. They say he wasn't calling the plays and with the Colts. His first press conference, he was stumbling and looked a little bit uncomfortable, which to me kind of give me the perception that maybe he was uncomfortable with being in the position of being the head coach for the Eagles. Then after I did some more reading on his background of how he was on, national championship teams in college, played as a wide receiver for pretty much a college powerhouse, and even just how he had good rapport and relationships with Philip Rivers when he was a QB coach, Keenan Allen when he was a wide receiver coach, then even the stuff he did with the Colts. Um, Started to kind of get behind him, and then again, following training camp for all these YouTube contents and articles I was reading. Um, he had this competitive mindset that the players really bought in and feed off to. I know there was all the jokes about rock paper scissors and all of that, and at times I joked about that too. But full circle, players really bought into that, and they really bought into an atmosphere in which they all had to earn every day um, the position, and also earn every day the right to play and be competitive. And that was a good mindset, especially for a team that's kind of young, because it sets a good example of, hey, you gotta earn your spot and earn your paycheck pretty much every day to be a member of this team. Um, so So yeah, I thought it was a good thing for the culture of the team. I did like a lot of the drills I saw from the training camp videos, which they kind of show you the drills and stuff before they went into the actual practices, which you weren't allowed to show. Which I followed down Philadelphia Eagles. Very good job on attention to detail, even on some of the messages he gave, which the players bought into. With that being said, I removed the idea that the media claimed he was a puppet just as a yes man for Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, and that Nick Sirianni was very aware of himself and very intelligent in what he was doing as the head coach of the team. Uh, so yeah, he had a good background to me in college as a player and also a player's coach in NFL and college. Uh, Now talking about some of the other aspects of the team during preseason. We started off with a sixth pick. We traded back to the 12th pick for a 2022 first round pick for Miami. The reason I was very nervous on that was because I wanted Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase, and I thought by doing that and then Jalen Waddle was the other wide receiver. But I thought by doing that we rid our chances, as I kept reading into the players that was going to be picked in the top 10. Then we pretty much lost our chance of all three wide receivers, and that bothered me a lot. And I kind of came around to saying, like, all right, we'll take Patrick Surtain or Micah Parsons, because those are the two defensive players I really wanted. Um, and then we're watching the draft, and Waddle goes off the board, Chase goes off the board, um, Surtain goes off the board, and then we get to 10, which Dallas had to pick, and I'm like, yo, Giants are gonna take Devontae Smith, and then my other part was, with Surtain off the board, Dallas is gonna take Michael Parsons, so I was like, the two defensive players I wanted are gonna go to division rivals, so I was very nervous. They ended up trading with Dallas, which I hated trading up with Dallas, if I'm being honest with you, to get Devontae Smith, but I loved the pick of Devontae Smith, so I was able to suck up my hate for, I guess, Dallas and be okay with it. I also hate that we give away a third round pick, which I thought could have been used to add defensively another player on the team, but it is what it is, right? I love that we got Devontae Smith out of the first round pick. Um, Second round pick, we took um, Landon Dickerson. My mixed feelings on that was we could have got a player that would have been more serviceable in year one, but I understand down the line why he did it. And if he's healthy in his career, I do think that's a steal, because I think he's a first round talent value when healthy. Um, Mill Williams looked good in preseason, but I did have reserves when we picked him. He kept saying he was more of a project. Our players got to develop before he became good. Zach McPherson, same thing. He said he had to develop before he got good, so it's kind of worried about that pick. But preseason, he flashed for me at times. Mill Williams looked really good to me preseason. Zach McPherson looked like he needed some more time to develop, but flashed to me at times in preseason. Kenneth Gainwell loved the pick. That was my steal this year's draft, where I thought Kayvon Wallace was still last year's draft. I thought Kenneth Gainwell was the steal this year's draft for the Eagles. I'm not even gonna say the last name, but Marlon T Let's put it that way. We got him. He looked more like a player that's gonna take some time developing this Eagles team. Tyron Jackson. I like the pick of Jacoby Stevens, though he didn't make the 53-man roster. I think we have him on our practice squad now. Not entirely sure on that, but I like the pick of Jacoby Stevens at the time we took him, but obviously he didn't make the 53-man roster. And then we took Patrick Johnson for our last pick. Already talked about that. Now, my issues with this year's draft, as I said last year's draft, I wanted Chin or Gay in the second round, Willie Gay in the second round. First round, Jefferson or Patrick Quinn been my pick. This year's draft, second round pick, first round pick, love the pick. Second round pick, I would have preferred Jeremiah Owosu, and I can say the second part of his last name, which he called JOK. Preferred that the linebacker from Notre Dame, I think he was from, or Asante Samuel Jr. Asante Samuel Jr. is really the pick I wanted because I thought our secondary needed the most help. And Asante Samuel Jr., former father of Asante Samuel, played for the Eagles. So I thought that was perfectly handed to us, if I'm being honest with you. But we went Landry Dickinson. So it took me a while to get over and the disappointing of that. But I came, I think I ranked the Eagles like the worst draft in the division at first. And after I had time to listen to the philosophy of why we went the way we went in the draft, which he said Howie Roseman is just always a proponent of adding constantly to offensive line, defensive line, I came back around to being like, oh, okay, I understand. At least he stuck to his philosophy, and I became okay with the draft after I had more time to think about it. And then Howie Roseman did a good job on free agency. Added Eric Wilson at position linebacker. Stevie Nelson and Anthony Harris, a secondary that needed help. Anthony Harris, a safety from Minnesota Vikings. Stevie Nelson from Pittsburgh, cornerback. Positions in need. And we got Ryan Kerrigan from the division rival Washington football team, who adds in as a pass rush, which I'll talk about tomorrow. Made very comfortable about the depth of our pass rush this year. I should say tomorrow, I should say later today. And then we got 3 first-round picks. Trade Carson Wentz. We get that was a conditional second-round pick, which would be upgraded to first-round pick if he plays 75% of the games or more, or 70% more of the games if they make the playoffs. So, where will we go into next season with 3 first-round picks potentially? Pretty much other than that, our team returns healthy in offensive and defensive line. Wide receivers flash in practice at times, and Quez Watkins flashed all preseason. Linebackers looked better and more improved in the preseason. First game against Pittsburgh, I thought our number one offensive defensively looked really good. Though our depth looked questionable at offensive line and defense against New England and New York Jets. So I had issues with our depth there. By the time we finished preseason, I went from concerned with the team to confident about the team. I thought we actually were being underrated and being slept by media and people that we was going to have a terrible season. I thought this team was more than 4 to 5 wins. Plus, I thought the schedule. Once I seen the schedule, I thought we had a very winnable schedule, and I couldn't see how people had this as low as 5 wins on the season. I think we're gonna finish top 2 in the NFC East, 9-8. I think Jalen Hurts is not gonna be a fluke as people think he is. I think he's gonna finish with a stat line like I said, my Eagles breakdown video of 3,000 more yards, 25 more passing touchdowns, 10 or more interceptions, and 850 more rushing yards, and 8 or more rushing touchdowns. So very confident with the team at the end. Like I said, I think go 9-8. That's what I thought at the end of the preseason for Philadelphia Eagles. So that's my thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles at the end of the preseason. Later, you get my video talking about how I feel about the current state of the team going into the Monday Night Football game. With that being said, I hope everyone have a wonderful, blessed, safe, happy, joyful life. Always, guys, keep doing good in the world. Wish you guys the best in life. You're ready to head to work. So that being said, guys, wish you all the best in life. Keep doing good in the world. Peace.